Good morning and welcome to KidNuz. I'm Tori. It's Thursday, August 27th, 2020. And we begin with the sporting world saying no to racism in a way it's never done before. Last night, in response to what appears to be another case of police treating someone differently because of the color of their skin, NBA players boycotted all 3 of their playoff games. The hardcore protest began with the Milwaukee Bucks, who refused to leave their locker room for a matchup with the Orlando Magic. An hour later, the NBA announced the other 2 playoff games had officially been postponed. The idea then jumped to baseball, where the Brewers, Reds, Padres, Mariners, and potentially others agreed that they, too, would sit out the evening. At the heart of the issue is a confrontation 29-year-old Jacob Blake had with police in the town of Kenosha, Wisconsin on Sunday. An interaction that left Mr. Blake hospitalized, reignited the conversation about race, and led to several nights of rioting. By the time you're playing today's KidNuz, Hurricane Laura will likely have slammed ashore somewhere between Texas and Louisiana, likely as a Category 4 storm with winds as high as 140 miles an hour and a storm surge of up to 20 feet. Mass evacuations are the norm when a hurricane that size is barreling in your direction. But during a pandemic, the usual advice of heading to a crowded shelter isn't a great idea. So with this storm, more than 500,000 coastal residents were ordered out and advised, if possible, to seek safety in hotel rooms where they can self-isolate. And for those who must stay in shelters, virus testing teams are standing by, along with a full stock of personal protective equipment and disinfectant. We'll have the latest on the storm's aftermath on KidNuz tomorrow morning. World-famous climate activist Greta Thunberg is back at school this week after taking a gap year. During her time off, the 17-year-old Swede traveled extensively, warning about the dangers of global warming and urging politicians to do more to protect the planet. She rose to fame for her Friday for Future protests, which she started on her own 2 years ago outside the Parliament building in Stockholm. They grew to mass rallies around the world, but have since had to stop due to the pandemic. The teen is excited to return to a normal life. She posted a picture of herself on social media with a backpack and a bike saying, "It feels so great to finally be back in school again." Meanwhile, schools in a different part of the world are facing a setback. South Korea was once looked up to as an example of success in keeping the coronavirus at bay. Schools have been open all summer there with few problems, but in the last 2 weeks, at least 150 students and over 40 staff have tested positive. So this week, most of the schools in the densely populated capital city of Seoul and the surrounding area have had to close down and move all classes back online, at least until mid-September. Health officials say the country is on the brink of a nationwide outbreak and have called on all people to stay home and limit travel. Smokey the Bear used to say only you can prevent forest fires, but what if Smokey had some high-tech help? A team of scientists at Michigan State University has developed a remote forest fire detector and alarm system powered only by the movement of trees in the wind. Believed to be the first of its kind, the device is the size of a soup can and costs just $20 to make. Traditional fire detection methods, satellite monitoring, ground patrols, and watchtowers are expensive and inefficient. The wind-powered devices could have both carbon monoxide and temperature sensors and could be a big help in getting a jump on detecting any potentially dangerous fires burning in the wilderness. The scientists hope to do a field test soon. That's it for KidNuz. We'd like to welcome all our new listeners at the start of the new school year. And if you'd like to make a tax-deductible donation to support this podcast through our fiscal sponsor, Independent Arts and Media, just go to our website, www.kidnuz.org. Now, the KidNuz quiz. Who has returned to school this week after taking a gap year to talk about climate change? 17-year-old Greta Thunberg, which is how they say her name in Sweden. Why did some NBA and MLB teams decide not to play last night? To protest the police treatment of Jacob Blake. How many people have been told to evacuate the Texas-Louisiana coast because of Hurricane Laura? more than 500,000. What powers a small device that can help detect forest fires? The movement of trees from the wind. And one for the road. It's not easy being a cow in the African plains of Botswana with plenty of hungry lions roaming around. But some conservationists have found a very cheap and effective way to protect cattle. Simply paint eyes on the cows' butts. Putting what looks like an eyeball on either side of the tail kind of looks like a face. Lions are ambush hunters. They creep up on their prey using the element of surprise. Some observant farmers noticed if the lions feel like they've been spotted, even by fake eyeballs, they'll give up and walk away. An initial experiment showed good results, and further testing is being done this summer. Before we go, our KidNuz birthday shout-outs today go to Desmond in Los Angeles, California, Braden in Green Bay, Wisconsin, Lila in New York, New York, Juniper in Wilmette, Illinois, and Ronnie in Overland Park, Kansas. Thanks so much for listening. We hope you tune in for more KidNuz tomorrow morning.